My dear students, as you all know, nowadays we are recapitulating our previous lessons. So today we are going to revise the chapter Plant. As you all know that plants are man's best friend. So we should save our plant and save our environment. Let's learn the parts of plant. They have 4 basic parts. They are leaves, stems, roots and flowers. Plants have mainly 2 types of roots. First is taproot roots. They have large central roots with shorter branching roots. Look at the picture. Examples are avocado, mango, carrot, tomato, etc. There is also another that is fibrous root. In this kind of root, you cannot identify any kind of large root. These kind of roots are mainly shorter and they are smaller like branches, and they are also more compact. Example, banana, coconut and all grasses are this kind of root. There is also another root that is known as storage root. The function of roots. Roots attach the plants to the ground. Roots absorb water and nutrients from the soil. Roots absorb water and nutrients from the ground and transport it to the stem. Roots hold the soil and thus they prevent soil erosion. Roots store food. I told you they are called the storage root. Examples are carrot, radish, etc. Stems. They have mainly 2 functions: movement of water and minerals from the root to the upper part of the plant, and movement of manufactured food that is prepared by the leaf, and it distributes the food throughout the plant. Stem also support the leaves and reproductive structures. We can also classify the plants according to the strength of their stem. So they can be tree, they can be shrubs, herbs, creepers and climbers. And according to the type of stems, they can be of 2 types: woody stem and non-woody stem. Woody stems are shrubs and trees because they have a woody structure, and non-woody stems are like herbs. Next is leaf. Leaf is the flattened outgrowth of stem. It is used for photosynthesis and respiration, and also for transpiration. It produces food used by the plant and also store it for later use. Leaves can be of many shapes and size. Basic parts of the leaves are leaf base, look at the picture, petiole, lamina or leaf blade, midrib, veins and margins or the edges of the leaf. Look at the picture. This is a leaf blade, and here the stalk part is known as the petiole. So leaf base is the part where it attached to the stem or the branch. What is lamina or blade? The flat, expanded and broad part of the leaf, and the most important part of the leaf which produce the food is known as the lamina or the leaf blade. It has veins and it forms a structural framework of the leaf. Next is midrib, the large center vein from which all the other leaf veins extend. It is known as the midrib. The midrib is branching here. Look at the small branches which emerged from the midrib. These are the veins. Leaf is the most important part of the plant, and it possesses some small holes which are known as the stoma or the stomata. It can be opened or it can be closed, and it is guarded by 2 guard cells. And these small pores allow the plant to breathe and transpire. That means it also gives off the moisture. The stoma helps in exchange of gas, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen, when a plant is photosynthesizing. Next is chloroplast. So leaf contains several chloroplasts. and these chloroplasts contain the chlorophyll. Can you see the small dots? They are the chlorophyll pigment that is present inside the leaves. Next is photosynthesis. So green plants make the carbohydrate, that is the glucose, from carbon dioxide and water. At the same time, they also produce oxygen. So what happened here? Carbon dioxide and water, in the presence of light and the chlorophyll, the plant can produce glucose, and also they give out oxygen. Parts of flower. Look at the picture. At the bottom of the flower, you will see a green tiny leaves. They are called sepals. They protect the flower when it is a bud. You know that petals are actually leaves, and they are usually bright in color to attract the pollinating birds or the pollinating insects. Next is stamen. It is the male part of the flower, and it has two parts, filament and anther. As we know that the anther produces the pollen grains. Next is carpel. Now it has three parts, that is stigma, that is the topmost part and which is sticky one. Then the style, it is the long neck-like structure that leads to the ovary. Then the ovary, and the ovary is the house of the egg cells. We call each egg cells ovule. Next we will learn about the pollination. So what is pollination? The process of transferring of pollen from one flower to another is called the pollination process. There are two types of pollination process. One is self-pollination and another is cross-pollination. Agents who help in the pollination process are known as agents of pollination. They can be insect, they can be wind, they can be bat or even birds. What is fertilization? When the pollen grains enter the ovary through the styles, that means through this part of the female structure, then they fuse to form the seed here, and this total process is known as the fertilization process. The ovules, that means the eggs, they develop into seeds, and the ovary, this ovary, it swells and becomes fleshy, which develops into the fruit. As the fruit ripens, the petals dry up. Alright, so this is the overall fertilization process. So as I told you, the ovules form the seed and the ovary forms the fruit. After the fertilization process, the seed is formed in the center part of the flower or in the fruit. Fruits come from the flowers. There are different parts of a seed. They are seed coat, which protects the seed, the cotyledon, which stored the food for the embryo, which is the baby plant. Have a close look. The upper part of the embryo will form the stem and the leaf, and the lower portion of the embryo will form the root. Look at the picture. There is a hole on the seed coat which allows to enter the water inside the seed, and that will allow the seed to absorb all the water, and then it will swollen. The germination process will begin. So look at this picture. The seed is absorbing the water content from the soil. Then it will start growing. The upper part will form the stem and the leaf, and lower part will form the root. The growing plant doesn't need the cotyledon, that's why it is shading the cotyledon. Then it will start growing and it will finally develop into a plant. Is seed dispersal. Dispersal of seed can be done by so many agents. They can be wind, water, animals, and it can be explosion. Plant cannot grow in a crowded condition where they have to fight against each other for light and for food. So the seeds need to be scattered. A suitable place should be found where it can grow without the overcrowding situation. This process of spreading or scattering of seeds is called the seed dispersal. Some fruits like pea and the balsam explode and burst open suddenly. This is because while drying, the walls of the fruit curl and throw out the seeds. And by explosion, the seeds are moved away from the parent plant. Seeds can also be dispersed with the help of water. The plants which grow in water, they disperse their seeds through the water. They have certain structures which help them to float on the water. Coconut. Coconut has a spongy and fibrous outer coat. It helps the coconut fruit to float in the water and it gets carried away to far off places. The coconut fruit reaches on a river shore or seashore. The outer coat decays and the seeds are exposed, and it leads to form a new healthy plant. Lotus and water lily are other examples of such kind of dispersal. Seeds are dispersed to other places with the help of wind. The seeds which are light in weight and have wings or tufts of hair on them are easily blown away by the wind. The seeds of cotton and dandelion, etc. have such tufts of hair on them. Seeds are also dispersed with the help of animals by their droppings. Look at the picture. These kind of seeds possess some hook-shaped structure which anchor those animals' skin or fur, then they are carried by those animals. By this way, they are dispersed from one place to another. So students, read this chapter again.